I'm Erica. I'm a research coordinator here at Hubbs. My primary responsibilities are pretty much running the different experiments that we get both on-site and off-site funding. We're actually going to be setting up for a yellowtail trial next month, so we're preparing this particular system for that. I've been working on some trials using different types of edible macroalgae, looking at water scrubbing and how we could make the water going out of the facility even cleaner than it came in. When I'm not working on a research experiment, I'm generally helping out the rest of the hatchery, anything from taking care of the larval white sea bass all the way up to the broodstock, and even sometimes off-site when we're going out to the different pen sites to check up on the fish that our volunteers are taking care of. I've been with Hubbs for just over 10 years now, and I love it.
So you'd mentioned a yellowtail trial coming up. What specifically will you be doing?
For that particular trial, we're actually looking at some alternative sources for, instead of using fish meal and fish oil, we're going to look at some different types of algae to supplement those, so we could eventually reduce the use of those particular items in food and maybe reduce what we're taking from the wild as far as the fish meal and fish oil that typically goes into those foods as a standard.
So there's quite a few of these buckets or barrels next to you. Can you describe what they're used for?
Sure. We're looking at 320-liter cone tanks here. They'll fill out to about where this pipe is here. We can comfortably house quite a few fish in these. Our trials last anywhere from 8 to 10 weeks in here, and the fish that we get are going to be about 5 to 10 grams. And at the end of the trial, they could be 40, 50, 60 grams. We'll have a total of about 9 different foods, and each tank is going to be assigned a different food type, and you can see our labeling on each type here. So it's going to be sort of a blind study. We don't know necessarily what we're feeding. We have that information elsewhere. Right now we just color match, and we're feeding that particular tank that particular food. And we're assessing things like growth specifically. We weigh the fish every 2 weeks to assess growth, and then we can get growth curves on all the different kinds of food and see which is performing the best.
So you spoke in terms of grams in weight. What is that in age for us that can convert grams?
It means a very small fish. They're about yay big when they come in, 5 to 10. So we're outside and we're looking at our experimental macroalgae system. This system is primarily used to scrub the water in trials, like I had mentioned before. It actually connects to our raceway systems up here, where we house our larger juveniles that are just about ready to go off to those grow-out sites. The water from those tanks will actually come into these tanks. We've got some small tanks here. We've got some larger holding tanks here. And the algae will actually absorb the nutrients that those fish produce from their waste. And then that clean water can go back out into the lagoon. So it's a way of taking those nutrients, instead of just putting them back into the ocean, we can actually use them for something useful. And a lot of the particular species that we do grow here are edible. So eventually this could be something that you could farm.
Hi, my name is Reid Newman. I'm the Aquaculture Research Technician here at Hubbs-SeaWorld. My primary duties are working with research projects having to do with white sea bass, yellowtail, and halibut. But I also work with general animal husbandry for the fish here at the Carlsbad Hatchery. Right now we're in the outdoor raceway area where we take care of some of the larger fish that have grown up to, a larger size and are able to live in larger areas. We have a group of white sea bass here in this pool that are about 250 days past their hatch. And these are actually a really interesting group of animals, because in addition to the work being done with them themselves, the water that leaves this pool is being used, or is going to be used, for our macroalgae study, to look at different species of algae and see how it works as a natural filtration system for water.
So these sea bass are going to be released into the wild eventually. How far off is that?
Sea bass of about this age would be getting pretty close, actually, to being moved out to the pens out in off-site, at which point they'd be released not too long after that. So these guys are getting up.
Hey everyone, my name is Savannah Basie, and we are here at Hubbs-SeaWorld Research Institute. My title is Senior Lead Technician. So what that means is I am in charge of all the lead technicians. I'm in charge of food inventory, larvae, just making sure everything goes well and smoothly with the fish that are in here. Where we are right now is we are in the live feeds room. So this is another area that I am in charge of. So with live feeds, this is basically the start of where we create the food for our larvae when we do have them. So live feeds, so what we have in here is artemia. What's an artemia? So basically, if you've ever heard of sea monkeys, they're the little tiny shrimps with the little wings. That's what we have in here. So this is where all the magic happens. So these two cones right over here, these are called our hatching cones. So we have a can of these little tiny eggs, and we go ahead and pour them in here. It's all nice and warm. We give them about almost 24 hours to hatch. Once they hatch, we bring them all the way over here to this area. This area is called our separ area. So basically how this happens is we pour whatever we have left over from the hatching cone, put it in here. There's water flowing through here, and the artemia go through here. And what's super cool about this separ is we have these fancy magnets in here. So with the cysts that we have, they have these little eggs that have little magnesium powder on it. So basically, as they're flowing through here, going through the magnets, all the shells, all the bad stuff that we don't want gets put on here, and all the artemia go right into here. And if you